All right, welcome back for the third part of our question. We're still trying to answer that big question. There's so much water on Earth, why should we bother conserve the region about it? And we've looked at the United States, who had trouble accessing fresh water in the United States. Now we're going to take a look at the world. And we're going to do that by interpreting some more maps. These are the three maps that we're going to look at. And let's scroll down to, well, first of all, before we do that, if you will, please, in your notebook, I want you to write down a new question here. Okay, that's going to be the question that drives our lesson for the next 2 days. So who has trouble accessing fresh water in the whole world now? All right, pause the video if you need to do that. Okay, and let's go down and do first map. Take a look at it here. And help you interpret this. Okay. The title of this map, why don't you just call this water withdrawal? That can be the title. Doesn't have a big one up there. And what this map is showing is it's showing how much water each country is taking as a percentage of their total available water. And we go from 1995 all the way to a projected 2025, how much water we're going to need in the future. So the first question, you have to determine the time frame. So I want you to figure out how many years is it from 1995 to 2025. Okay. Let's take a look here at Alaska. So Alaska is part of the United States. It's not a continent, okay, but it's part of the United States. In 1995, Alaska was withdrawing 20 to 10%, 10 to 20% of their total water. So they're taking about 10 to 20% of what they have back in 1995. Predicted for 2025, Alaska is going to be taking 20 to 40% of their total water. So they're going to be, in the future, they're going to be taking more water. Okay? Let's see if we can maybe find an opposite example here. Well, we can see that Mexico stays the same. Here's Mexico in 1995. They're taking 20 to 40%. And in 2025, they're going to be taking the same percentage. So they're not going to be needing more water. They're going to take the same percentage. Okay. All right, that's the first map. Now let's go on and take a look at the second map and how to interpret that map. Okay. Let's just call this map doesn't have a title. Let's just call it the continent map. Okay. And first of all, let's take a look at the key so we understand the key. This map is showing us how much rainfall falls around the world. And in areas that are dark blue to kind of purplish get the most rainfall, and yellow countries get the least amount of rainfall. Okay, it's measured in millimeters. And I looked this up before we begin this just so you guys know, 2,000 millimeters is about 6.5 feet of water. Okay, so that's more water than Mr. R is tall. Imagine getting a whole layer of water 6.5 feet tall across your whole country in those blue portions. All right, you have to do your best to rank the continents from the most to the least. So that means this is North America, you have South America, okay, you have Africa, you have Europe, you have Asia, okay, Australia, and not really shown on this map is Antarctica, but it would be up. All right. So I want you to interpret this map based on that. Okay. And this last map title, the title is up there. This one's called Areas of Physical and Economic Water Scarcity. And let's talk about what the word scarce means. When something is scarce, that means it is not available. You might want to write that over in the margins. When something's scarce, it means it's not available. When food is scarce, it's not available. when you talk about supplies at a store, if you go to buy, like maybe there's a hot toy during the holiday times, they may say quantities are scarce, that means not available. Okay, so let's look here. Anything that's blue has little to no water scarcity. So these are areas where water would be more available. All right. Anything that's red is a physical water scarcity. So look at this. We talked about, this is the United States, and we talked about the western half of the United States when we did the U.S., about how it is covered in mountains and deserts, and how that makes it hard to access water. That's physical water scarcity, being physically difficult to reach the water. Okay, and then the other type of scarcity on this map is called economic water scarcity. And places that have economic water scarcity, these are places where people can't afford to get the water. They don't have the money for the infrastructure. They don't have the money to build the pipes. They don't have money to dig the wells. They don't have money to make the purification plants. Okay, so these are places where there is people just don't have enough money to do what they need to do to get the water that they need. Okay. All right, so that is the three maps. What I want you to do is I want you to make sure that you guys copy down the titles for each one, and then I want you to answer all of the questions in standalone answers. All right, and then when we're done, just like before, we're going to make conclusions on this sheet here that I will hand out in class. All right, that's it. Please start if you finish watching this video.